So we're going to go the opposite way. We were given a standard equation in one root, and then we were dividing to find the rest of the functions. But this time we're going to go from the roots to the function. So here's what makes these tricky. I have x equals 5, x equals 2, and x equals 3i. But really, this one right here is almost like a trick, because they're saying x equals 3i, which means that x must also equal negative 3i, because they always come in pairs, plus or minus I, because it's a square root. So we're going to take our 4 roots now, the 3 ones that were given in the hidden root, and we're going to write a function. So this guy came from the factor x minus 5. This one came from the factor x minus 2. And then these two right here are going to blend to make one factor. So x equals plus or minus 3i. And then we don't ever see i's in functions, right? So we're going to do the thing that created an I. We're going to undo that. To undo a square root, we square. So square both sides. So this becomes x squared. Positive squared or negative squared both makes a positive 9, and then I squared is negative 1. So this is all going to simplify to x squared equals negative 9. So we're going to add that over. And there we have our last part. So we're going to take our 3 factors, and we're going to write them out. X minus 5, x minus 2, and then x squared plus 9. This question is asking for factored form, so we don't need to go any further than this right here. So this is our function, f of x. This one down here is a little bit of an extension question, so you do need to know how to do this one, but the next one down is a little bit more complex, so if you struggle with this one, that's okay, but at least give it a try. Okay. So we're given these 1, 2, 3 roots, and this one also has an I, so if 5 plus 2i is a root, then 5 minus 2i is a root. And so we're going to break these up. X equals square root 3 and square root negative square root 3. So these two come from one question. So we're going to square this whole thing. This becomes x squared equals 9. So x squared minus 9 is one of our factors. And then we're going to deal with these ones right here. So x equals 5 plus or minus 2i. So if we wanted to undo this I component right here, we would need to square both sides. But I've got this 5 and a plus or minus, so what we're going to do so that we can square it is we're going to bring this piece over, and then it's going to become x minus 5 equals plus or minus 2i. So now the radical, which is this I, is by itself. Then we're going to square both sides. So this side is going to become x squared minus 10x plus 25. And this side is going to become negative 4. So we add our 4 over. We get x squared minus 10x plus 29. So there's our other factors. So we have our two factors. Oops, sorry guys. So we added our 4 over. So we have our two factors, this one, and then we're going to write our function over here in factored form. F of x equals x squared minus 9 and x squared minus 10x plus 29. So you might be confused a little bit because you're thinking, well, why isn't it just x minus this and x minus this and x minus all of this? You could have written it in that form, but you're not supposed to have radicals or i's, which are really just radicals, in function factored form. So that's why we simplified them out, and then we took our two clean factors with no radicals in them, and we put those two together. If you wanted to go further, you could multiply these out into standard form, but for now, factored form is fine.